Hey there, it's Susan Pierce Thompson, and welcome to the weekly vlog. So these days, I have a buddy that I am checking in with every night. She's a Bright Lifer, and I think we got connected up, I don't know when, a long time ago, but at some point in the recent past, we realized that we had similar goals around our bodies, like physical fitness. For me, I had some chronic shoulder pain and chronic knee pain. And I finally, especially with this COVID lockdown shelter in place thing that started happening, I finally felt like I had the bandwidth to do the daily exercises that I needed to do to stop having that pain. And she had some physical fitness goals as well. And we both do bright line eating and are committed to the food and the daily disciplines, the way we do it in bright line eating. So we just started buddying up and committing, and checking in every night. And we don't do it live. We do it asynchronously, either by text or Marco Polo or whatever. This is a very common thing that happens in bright line eating, that people buddy up and commit with each other. And there's some languaging that she started using and that now I use that I wanted to share with you. And I've been thinking deeply the last couple of days about this particular turn of phrase because it's so illustrative of the way of orienting to life and in particular to the day when you're strong in bright line eating. Here's what she says to me every day. She says, blah, blah, blah. Here's how my day went, blah, blah, blah. And that's it, girlfriend. Wash, rinse, repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat. Do it again tomorrow. Wash, rinse, repeat. If you don't know, the wash, rinse, repeat thing, I think is a joke. It comes off a shampoo bottle sometimes, right? So like, how do you use shampoo? Wash, rinse, repeat. If you're going to wash your hair twice. Anyway, that's where it comes from. But this idea of wash, rinse, repeat on a solid bright line day is so deep and profound. First of all, here's what it says. It says the day is the unit, the foundational unit of bright line living. And getting the day automatic and right and dialed in is it's the goal, it's the path, it's the system, it's what makes bright line eating work. The bright line day consists of 3 clear meals that you've committed in advance according to the bright line eating food plan. It consists of a morning routine, some connection with other bright line eating people during the day, an evening routine. It's where you have time in the evening for thinking about and preparing for your bright line day the next day. There's this saying in bright line eating that sunset is a sign. It's the time to think of this day ending and orienting toward a time of preparation for the next day. There is a flow and a rhythm and an automaticity to a bright line day. And when you get that structural unit really dialed in, as my buddy often says, in the pocket today, girlfriend, wash, rinse, repeat. I'll talk to you tomorrow. When you learn how to be in the pocket for one bright line day, in the pocket is a football metaphor, American football, where the quarterback drops into a pocket, which is like a little area of space where they're protected by their offensive linemen, and they get to just drop into the pocket and they have time to sort of survey their wide receivers and maybe make a pass. So anyway, that's the in the pocket metaphor. But yeah, when you're in the pocket and your day is dialed in, wash, rinse, repeat, it just, it's got a grace and a beauty and a rhythm to it. And I wanted to share with you what I think are the 3 best reasons to really focus on your bright line day and getting it dialed in to the point where you could, at the end of the day, with your heart bursting and soaring, just say, it was such a great bright line day, wash, rinse, repeat, go into bed now. Why would you want to do that? Well, first of all, because when you dial in your bright line day, you get all the promises of bright line eating, right? Which means, your weight getting handled to the point where you feel really good in your body, your health improves immeasurably, You get to the point where you're free from the chatter and cravings and obsession around food. Your brain is no longer suggesting to you that you eat things other than what's in alignment to eat that's on your Brightline food plan. Like, you get the full transformation. You get the promises around here. So that's one reason. Pretty good reason. The second reason is that it frees up tremendous capacity for living the rest of your life. So, we all have aspects to our life that are really dialed in, like they're automatic. And that could be brushing our teeth, getting dressed, making a cup of coffee in the morning, making our bed, whatever the basic behind the scenes actions are that we never have to think about anymore. We never have to allocate resources to making sure that they happen. When you take all of your Brightline activities and you practice them to the point where they become that automatic, and if you add in other things like certain physical therapy exercises that you want to be doing every day, or certain exercise that you want to be doing every day, or certain reach out phone calls or posting in the Brightline community that you want to be doing every day, and you automate those as well, you suddenly get a whole bunch of what could take a lot of effort. You start getting it for free, and cognitively speaking, like, your brain doesn't have to remind you or think about it or worry about it or suggest it. All that starts happening automatically in the background. And so that frees up resources in the foreground for doing other things, launching other projects, or focusing on your relationships in a more deep and present way, thinking about how you can contribute your gifts to this world. It just frees up capacity. And then the third reason is that it makes you much more resilient in times of crisis. I was noticing during the COVID crisis, which we're kind of still in the tail end of here, or I don't want to get predictive or political about. Anyway, still kind of happening, but not as intensely as it was, at least in my neck of the woods a couple of months ago. But I noticed in the thick of it, I was doing Facebook Lives every single day, and there was this huge percentage of people that were saying things like, I'm so grateful for my Brightline eating program, my Bright Lines. I'm leaning into them, and I'm really sailing through this. Like, I'm thriving through this. As much as it's hard, as much as it's scary, this sort of scaffolding of the Brightline day is carrying me through. And I remember when my twins were born, weighing 1 pound 6 ounces and 1 pound 7 ounces back in 2008. And they were in neonatal intensive care for 4 months. And it was just a harrowing time. I was working a very strong program. I had this wash, rinse, repeat type of program under my belt. No sugar, no flour, weighing and measuring my food, 3 meals a day. And it carried me through. I went through this really devastating, shocking, surprising crisis time without ever eating off plan and without even ever really thinking about eating off plan. I just had all of my focus on showing up at the hospital, praying for and loving on my sweet little babies in their isolates, and thinking about the medical situation that was unfolding. And food wasn't really part of that picture. It wasn't, it was in the background, not in the foreground. So resilience in the face of crisis is another reason to do it. So if you don't have a Brightline program that's sort of dialed in to the point where you could, at the end of the day, say, whew, awesome, wash, rinse, repeat. What should you do about that? If you want that, right? If you want that, maybe you don't. Maybe you're not ready, or maybe it's not anything that you would ever want. Cool in the gang. But what if you did want that? Well, you start with the food. You start with the food as outlined in the book, as outlined in the 14-day challenge, as outlined in the boot camp. And then you don't orient toward this as a diet. It's not a diet. It's a way of living. It's a lifestyle. It's a way of living. It's an identity all the way deep. And you take all the other suggestions that are not food related as seriously as you take following the food plan. And you got to layer it in, right? You can't just change everything all at once. Get the food dialed in and then start to layer in some of the morning routine habits, meditation and so forth, some of the evening routine habits. Now, what's great about the boot camp is it teaches you how to do this, right? It holds your hand through the process of setting up the structure. There are other ways to arrive there. You just have to kind of be your own coach and mindfully stay with it to layer in the habits in addition to the food plan. It's worth it, in my opinion. It's super worth it. It's an incredibly rewarding, soul-nurturing, fabulous way of life. And I just wanted to share with you a little bit about what it feels like and what the benefits are of being able to get to the end of the day and just say, in the pocket, another day, done and dusted, wash, rinse, repeat. I love you. I'll see you next week. And that's the weekly vlog.